What's up, y'all? It's your boy Brennan, and I'm back again with another video for y'all. Today, I wanted to focus in Proverbs 26, verse 23, and although we're not focusing on the entire chapter, this verse really stood out to me. You're gonna see how this video is really raw, but I just wanted to get the message out before the end of today. So, verse 23 says, like the glaze covering an earthen vessel are fervent lips with an evil heart. So to be able to understand this, we gotta deconstruct the words. Like the glaze, which means the outermost shell, like a layer surrounding, covering an earthen vessel, which means human. We are vessels. So, as in, God created us. Our fervent lips with an evil heart. Fervent means like compassion, to show compassion. So compassionate lips with an evil heart. This really stood out to me because it shows us how we have to be discerning in certain things. Because remember, Satan is the king of lies. He is so good at deceiving that you don't even know when you're being deceived. If we go and flip to 1 Kings chapter 3, verses 16 to 28, it reads, Then 2 prostitutes came to the king and stood before him. The one woman said, "O my lord, this woman and I live in the same house, and I gave birth to a child while she was in the house. And on the 3rd day after I gave birth, this woman also gave birth, and we were alone. There was no one else with us in the house, only we 2 were in the house. And this woman's son died in the night because she lay on him. And she arose at midnight and took my son from beside me, while your servant slept, and laid him at her breast, and laid her dead son at my breast. When I rose in the morning to nurse my child, behold, he was dead. But when I looked at him closely in the morning, behold, he was not the child that I had born." But the other woman said, "No, the living child is mine, and the dead child is yours." The first said, "No, the dead child is yours, and the living child is mine." Thus they spoke before the king. Then the king said, "The one says, 'This is my son that is alive, and your son is dead.' And the other says, 'No, but your son is dead, and my son is the living one.' And the king said, 'Bring me a sword.' So a sword was brought before the king. And the king said, 'Divide the living child in 2, and give half to one and half to the other.' Then the woman whose son was alive said to the king, because her heart yearned for her son, 'O my lord, give her the living child, and by no means put him to death.' But the other said, 'He shall neither be mine nor yours. Divide him.' Then king answered and said, 'Give the living child to the first woman, and by no means put him to death. She is his mother.' And all Israel heard of the judgment that the king had rendered, and they stood in awe of the king, because they perceived that the wisdom of God was in him to do justice." That was a lot of reading right there. I'm not sure if you were able to process what I just read, but basically, everything in a nutshell was that these 2 women had 2 children. One of the second woman's kid died, and while they were sleeping, she switched their kids out, and then they went before the king, telling each other that, "Oh no, this is my son. Oh no, this is actually my son." And so the king, to find out, he said, even though behind all the lies, all the deceivement that was going on, he was able to discern just by saying, "Bring me a sword and we will split that child in 2." By seeing the intention of the heart. The Bible tells us that it really doesn't matter what you say. You can claim to be a Christian, but you can also not be one. I'm not sure if I'm making quite sense to you, but I can claim to be a Christian and still live my life in sin. I can claim to love somebody, but I'm talking behind their back, and my heart may not love them. So, with this, I'm telling us, brothers and sisters in Christ, we must be able to learn how to discern. We must not trust everything that comes to our mind, and we must not trust everything that we hear. We must be able to pick out the little things and be able to discern and find out and get to the bottom of the situation. I hope y'all were able to learn something out of that. I'll see y'all. Peace.